If you suddenly find yourself in cold water, knowing what's going to happen to you may save your life.
We developed a simple life-saving slogan to help people remember the 3 phases of responses to being in cold water, as well as helping them remember what to do. It's called the 1-10-1 principle. You have 1 minute to get your breathing under control. You have about 10 minutes of meaningful movement and an hour or so before you become unconscious due to hypothermia. So in that first minute, when you have the cold shock response and you're gasping and hyperventilating, what you need to remember is don't panic and just get control of your breathing. After you get your breathing under control, you have about 10 minutes or so of meaningful movement. At the beginning, you need to effect all the actions that you can to ensure your survival, like pulling yourself up on an overturned craft to get your body out of the water, making sure that you have your life jacket on if it wasn't already on, affecting any communication with radios or getting a flare ready to deploy. All these things that take strength or dexterity need to be done sooner than later, because after a while you will start to get weak and you'll be less and less able to effect your own rescue. And at this point it is very important that you have had your life jacket on, because very soon you will not be able to do the actions necessary to keep your mouth above the water.
If you do end up in the water and have passengers aboard, quickly check behind and under the boat for them. Don't waste your time removing shoes or clothing, because even small amounts of air trapped in your clothing will provide some buoyancy and thermal protection. If the boat isn't capsized, use the boat's reboarding devices and appropriate and practiced techniques to get back in. If your boat is capsized but it's small enough, you might be able to turn it back over and then get back in and bail. If not, try to at least get on top of it and to get as much of your body out of the water as possible. Staying with or near the boat is usually the best thing to do in open water, particularly if the event was witnessed, because even a capsized or a swamp boat can offer supplemental flotation and is far easier for potential rescuers to see than a person in the water.
Normally, you should stay with your boat, but in some situations, you may have to consider swimming to shore.
If your boat is capsized in an isolated body of water and you don't think that rescue is likely within an hour or so, you may need to consider swimming to shore as your best chance of survival. Once you have your breathing under control, you can start to think about how far it is to shore. You'll probably be able to swim maybe 45 minutes with a life jacket on in water that is 45 degrees or less. Of course, if you don't have a life jacket on, you don't even have this option, because you won't be able to swim very far at all. Just remember, the decision to swim for shore should only be taken if you really don't think that rescue can happen within an hour or so.
If you're in moving water, point your feet downstream and get into a semi-sitting position. Your body position should be at a 45-degree angle to the current, with your head pointing towards the side of the river that you want to go. Use a modified backstroke. The force of the current on the upstream side of your body will help you to ferry towards the bank of your choice.